hence the need for the SOP.
Materia Toure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I just want to take a short call on this. The committee stages, again, to set out, put on the record some of the issues that were raised in the Select Committee on this legislation. Again, it is companion legislation to the Waikato Tainui Raupatu claim and to the management of the river, but this one's very specific about the Waipa River. It's worth noting for the House that this river and the surrounding area were subject to serious degradations as a result of development of these areas contrary to the wishes of the hapu na iwi for whom this is their rohe. They talked about how the river has been degraded over time from diversions, from the building of stop banks, from sewage pouring into the river, from farm runoff pouring into the river. They talked about land being destroyed by quarrying and farming and from housing developments over which they had no authority or control. There was one story told of soil from the Urupa, from Ngāti Urunumia, being used to build a stop bank on the river, and that human remains were then part of the building of that stop bank, were found, and these are the consequences of the colonisation process that has trapped and locked Māori out of the decision-making over their own lands. And we are now in the process, through settlements, of trying to find some redress for what are very serious harms to that land and to that decision-making, to that authority, the tino rangatiratanga of these hapu and iwi. And although the settlements are supposed to provide some redress, actually you simply cannot provide redress for the degree of loss and harm that has been caused over time. So while I think we need to acknowledge the generosity of Māori in even beginning to agree to settlement processes and settlement legislation like this, it is enormously generous that Māori agree to participate in this process. Part of it comes from the duress of poverty, that there is a real desire, one, to gain some resources so that they can work and do this work. Another very strong desire to be involved in the clean-up and the fixing of the damage that was caused by others to their land and to their waters. And they make enormous sacrifices in order to find some mechanism to do this work. That has to be put on the public record in this House, so that in time, because these things will be revisited regardless of how much the government wants this to be full and final, in time these issues will be revisited by the descendants of these claimants, and it's important that these issues are put on the table and on the public record. We will be supporting this legislation. I'm not aware of any major objections to this at this stage, but I was not on the Select Committee and didn't hear the submissions. The Green Party will be supporting this legislation.
We move to the questions. There are some amendments. So the first question is that the Minister's amendments, as set out on SOP number 4, be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Question now is that the preamble, parts 1 to 3, schedules 1 and 2, and clauses 1 and 2, as amended, stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. I will report this bill with amendment presently. Members, we move now to the Ngāti Pahawera Treaty Claim.